Mini episode 1568 of the FDH Lounge is brought to you by Sportsology, delivering unconventional columns and webcasts about sports, TV, music, movies, and more. Follow them on the web at sportsology.com.
The FDH Lounge. You'll want to schedule your life around it.
A long time ago, on a gloomy, wet Cleveland spring night, two men stand alone amidst the late-night drizzle. Their voices echo across the vacant station parking lot as they debate the merits of the great American radio show that have been missing for far too long. On that night, an idea was born. That idea became the FDH Lounge. Welcome to the FDH Lounge.
Hello and welcome to FDH Lounge mini episode 1568, the weekly FDH football preview show. I'm FDH Managing Partner Rick Morris here with our preview for Week 17 of the 2022 NFL season, as well as a look at college football. For last week's college pick, we were 0-1 and are 21-12 for the season. Here's our look at the College Football National Semifinals. In the Fiesta Bowl, number 3 TCU not only managed to keep their playoff hopes alive after choking to Kansas State in the Big 12 championship game, but they also avoided even slipping to number 4 as they meet number 2 Michigan. Max Duggan has led big comebacks all year long, but came up just short in his last game, and likely will here if they fall behind with the Wolverines' bruising ground game. The Horned Frogs will hang close most of the way, but Michigan will pull away late to cover the 7.5. Michigan 34, TCU 24. Next up, it's number 4 Ohio State versus number 1 Georgia in the Peach Bowl. Theoretically, the Buckeyes match up well with the Bulldog offense in terms of their capacity to limit big plays, but they faltered miserably against a Michigan team that was an even better matchup. Of course, that came from the tight butt cheeks that they played with when they failed to put the Wolverines away early, and therein lies the problem. Much of that tightness comes increasingly from Ryan Day and C.J. Stroud, who posts gaudy numbers but has yet to elevate this team to a win against the top-notch squad in 2 seasons. Both teams are probably in the top 3 of the country in terms of blue-chip talent, along with Alabama, so Ohio State theoretically could win this game. Essentially, they have to come in as though they have nothing to lose, ironically as Michigan did against them. Georgia is also unlikely to be able to exploit Ohio State's secondary, but then again, so is Michigan. In the end, look for Ohio State to keep it close enough to sneak within the spread of 6.5. Georgia 28, Ohio State 23. Here's the rest of our New Year's 6 picks. Tennessee plus 5.5 over Clemson in the Orange Bowl. Alabama minus 6.5 over Kansas State in the Sugar Bowl. USC minus 2.5 over Tulane in the Cotton Bowl. And Utah minus 2.5 over Penn State in the Rose Bowl. Here's our NFL top 10 for this week. 1 Philadelphia, 2 Buffalo, 3 Kansas City, 4 Cincinnati, 5 Dallas, 6 San Francisco, 7 Minnesota, 8 Baltimore, 9 the LA Chargers, 10 Jacksonville. Here's your bottom 5, 28 Arizona, 29 Chicago, 30 Indianapolis, 31 Denver, 32 Houston. In the NFL, we were going for our 4th season since 2016 of being profitable, i.e. above 52.4%, picking every game of the season. After being above it the first 4 weeks, now we're below after a rough stretch. Last week, we were 6-8-2, 2-1 on the Big 3, and 1-0 on the lock. We're 102, 115-9, 20-24-1, and 10-6 on the season. Here's our picks for this week. Tennessee plus 12.5 over Dallas. Atlanta minus 3.5 over Arizona. Chicago plus 6 over Detroit. Kansas City minus 12.5 over Denver. Miami plus 3 over New England. Philadelphia minus 5.5 over New Orleans. Tampa Bay minus 3 over Carolina. San Francisco minus 10 over Las Vegas. The New York Jets minus 1.5 over Seattle. Minnesota plus 3.5 over Green Bay. The LA Rams plus 6.5 over the LA Chargers. Baltimore minus 2.5 over Pittsburgh. And Buffalo minus 1.5 over Cincinnati. For our Big 3, it's Jacksonville minus 4.5 over Houston. And the New York Giants minus 6 over Indianapolis. And in the 1,000-star gold-plated lock of the millennium for NFL Week 17, it's Washington minus 2 over Cleveland. Thank you for joining us for this mini episode of the FDH Lounge.